I'll be honest, when I first started to get an idea for this video, I was just thinking about how the USBC transition would take place thanks to the European Union now passing a law into a mandate that after a certain point in 2024, all electronic devices have to make this switch over to USB-C, and then 52 Audio came in and made the story a lot more interesting. So without further ado, let's begin. So before 52 Audio dropped the report, here was my initial prediction. We've only had the iPhone change its charge port once in the history of the iPhone, and that was in 2012 with the Lightning port. And if you recall, that was still a pretty big deal and a pretty drastic transition because 30-pin had been around for years and years and years on the iPod and now the iPhone, and Lightning was on nothing. It was a brand new port, and don't get me wrong, it was a better port. It had better data transfer speeds, it was reversible, it was far easier to plug in than the stupid 30-pin connector was, but still, it was a big transition because it was a brand new port. And now that the EU is going to start mandating USB-C on more and more devices within the next couple years, and before you freak out, no, Apple can't circumvent this law just by going portless. I think there's a lot of people that seem to just assume, well, if it's portless, that means it's okay. No, the law says that essentially if the device was already portless beforehand, then it can stay portless, like the Apple Watch doesn't need to get USB-C, but any device that has currently been rocking ports has to adopt Type-C. So no, the iPhone can't just go portless and somehow bypass this law. And also, Apple's already pulled the e-waste argument. They're caring about cables and wires ending up in landfills, and if they start going portless, there's going to be countless and endless supplies of Lightning cables that all become useless overnight. There's no easy way to convert all Lightning cables into MagSafe chargers. However, there is an easy way to convert all Lightning cables into USB-C chargers. So now that there's analysts and leakers saying that the iPhone is going forward with USB-C, my thought process was similar to that transition with the iPhone 5. They would start with the iPhone, and as you guys know, Lightning is on a lot more than just the iPhone. It's on the Siri remote, it's on AirPods, it's even on the freaking Magic Mouse and Magic Keyboard for some reason. And if Apple did want to announce at the iPhone 15 keynote next year that, hey, we're beginning this transition to USB-C, and we plan on getting our entire product line switched over the next couple years, throughout the rest of 2023 and 2024, you would likely see AirPods make the switch, and Mac accessories make the switch, and the Siri remote make a switch and all that. But 52 Audio mixed things up a little bit, which if you don't know who they are, they have proven to be fairly reputable sources when it comes to AirPods rumors and leaks. Like, they were posting photos of AirPods 3 like 7 to 8 months before they launched, and they ended up being spot on, very, very accurate with them, and very similarly with the launch of AirPods Pro. So that's why I'm inclined to believe at least part of this report that they dropped this morning, which is that AirPods Pro 2 are not going to be that much of a design update, which I'm honestly grateful for. I'm a big fan of the 4-stem design, and I don't need them to ditch the stems. I think there's plenty of advantages to keeping it, but they actually came forward and said that even though these are launching later this year, they're planning the switch to USB-C. So the more I started thinking about this, I was like, whoa, isn't that too soon? Why would they launch USB-C AirPods in 2022? You know, it started to make sense once I realized that AirPods do not get refreshed that often. You know, AirPods Pro originally launched at the end of 2019, and Apple has not touched them at all since then. So if Apple is planning on upgrading AirPods Pro again, which yes, by the way, that should come with enhanced audio performance, and 52 Audio claims there's going to be heart rate sensors or body temperature monitors, which that's more of the report I have a hard time believing because they've been saying that for years, and Apple still has never rolled out any kind of health features to AirPods. But the USB-C thing is actually starting to make sense if Apple continues this trend of only updating AirPods every 2.5 to 3 years. Because now that the EU law is in effect, Apple really only has 1 or 2 more years before they gotta switch devices over to USB-C. And if they're not planning on updating AirPods Pro that frequently, then maybe updating them to Type-C right now would be the best bet, because, you know, they're probably not in mass production quite yet, and now that the EU law is passed, things might have solidified in the port planning department at Apple right now. So once they realized, oh crap, we definitely need to switch to Type-C, all future products are now going to switch to it if possible. And the iPhone 14, unfortunately, is just already moving. It's already in mass production. There was just no way they could switch the iPhone 14 lineup to USB-C this year, this last minute. But Ming-Chi Kuo was saying AirPods Pro 2 were not going to launch until the 4th quarter, which he's not right about everything, but he was spot on with his timeline for AirPods 3 last year. Even when everybody thought it was going to come sooner, he was right in saying, nope, this is going to launch later in the year. So I think we might have, an Apple Watch and iPhone and iPad event in September, and that one may showcase the iPad 10 switching to Type-C, but of course the Apple Watch will keep charging portless, and the iPhone 14 will be Lightning as usual, and Apple probably won't track too much attention to that fact. But then at an October or November event later, when we get the new Mac Pro and the new iPad Pros, probably in some event out there, they can say, and just like MacBook Pros and iPad Pros have Type-C, we're bringing Type-C to AirPod Pros because, these are the higher end device, and you probably already have a USB-C cable if you're used to spending this kind of money on headphones and higher end Apple products. Even the iPad mini has Type-C, and if rumors end up being correct, the budget iPad might have Type-C by then. So I know it sounds a little bit weird for the iPhone to have Lightning and AirPods Pro to have Type-C, but Apple's logic is probably, if you're buying Pro AirPods, you either have a Type-C cable around, or you at least have MagSafe, which, I don't know what the usage rates are exactly, but I have to imagine that a lot of people buying AirPods Pro probably are also the kind of people that might charge the AirPods wirelessly anyway. So if you're gonna ship a port on the case, might as well make it the best port. And even if all this ends up being wrong and 52 audio is incorrect, I still think we should ultimately expect this now that the EU is putting a lot of pressure on Apple to adopt this standard. And I don't care if you disagree with it, it's a whole different discussion on whether or not governments should get involved. I'm just in favor of it happening because as I'm traveling and having to pack all these different cables and charge bricks with me, I am so much more in favor now than ever before of just having a single port standard across all products. Honestly, just a USB-C MagSafe Duo would be super duper helpful because I can charge my MacBook and my watch and my phone all with the same cable and charge brick. So this gets me even more excited for AirPods Pro 2 and more excited for next year's iPhone, which makes me again grateful I'm not upgrading to the iPhone 14 this year because it's looking like there's a decent chance that's the last iPhone that will rock the Lightning ports. What do you guys think of 52 Audio's report? Do you think he's trustworthy? Are you excited for this USB-C transition? Feel free to let me know all that stuff down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you all in the next one.